Game 4 of the Champions League organized by the Football Federation of Sri Lanka is about to happen. Saunders taking on Crystal Palace from Gampola, which promises to be a thrilling encounter. And I have Deshan alongside me in the combox. Deshan, well, the first 3 games, if those were anything to go by, I'm sure we are in for an exciting encounter here at Racecourse.
Absolutely, Romario. It's Day 2, Match 4 here at the Champions League, which is the second tier of Sri Lanka's football pyramid, against 2 stalwarts of Sri Lanka's footballing scene, Crystal Palace FC from my hometown of Gampola, and one of the fallen greats of Sri Lankan football who's going through a little bit of a rough patch, Saunders SC. It's a rainy day here in Colombo today. Cool enough, I think, that will help the players, that the heat is not on the high side. And that wetness on the grass that we can see on the pitch here under these floodlights, Romario, is going to offer the right environment for some quick football with the ball really guiding and gliding on top of the football pitch as well. So an interesting game to come. From the Super 8s who will earn promotion to the Super League for the 2026 season.
Indeed, I think that's the pinnacle of domestic football in Sri Lanka, and that's what everyone will be setting their sights on. The Super League, which is scheduled to be played right after this Champions League tournament happens, and we'll all be expecting some exciting football through the next few weeks coming up.
Absolutely, as you can hear in the background, the teams have lined up in front of the dugouts here at the Racecourse Stadium, ready to walk out onto the pitch. We've got an 8 p.m. kickoff here. As the teams set to follow the FIFA flag and make their way out onto the pitch.
The youngsters from the Java Lane Football Academy carrying the FIFA flag, and they will soon be accompanied by the 2 teams making their way out.
And there you have referee Sampath Liyana Gunawardena picking up the ball. He's going to be ably assisted today by Lahiru Madhusankar and Indunil Sandakalum, the 2 official assistant referees for this game. And 4th official Chatura Madhuranga, the match commissioner for today's game, will be our very own Navod Vijay Vikrama. And the teams lined up here, ready to take the pitch. It's a mix of experience and youth for both these sides. Crystal Palace having to make the trip all the way from the central province up in the cold climes of Gampola. And on the other side, Saunders, not too far away, their base. It's going to be an interesting watch. Saunders in their blue strip will be lining up as follows.
Priyadarshana well, they'll be lining up in a 4-2-4 formation with Priyadarshana, Nalin, Samira Pereira, and Fafzan in defense with the 2 midfielders, Induvara, the skipper, and Abdul Aziz, And the 4 forwards, Dilan, Mufazil, Niresh and Pathum Gimhan will round off the run-on 11 for Saunders with Vimukti Madhuwanta in goal. The official photograph, the players just preparing themselves for it as we see the Crystal Palace lineup, Deshan.
Absolutely. For Crystal Palace, it's going to be Mohamed Riflan in goal. They're going to be playing in a 4-4-2 formation as well. Hemming the defense is going to be Ganesh Rajkumar, Mohamed Shemak, the skipper, and also Hemanta Bandaragoda and Ragaratnam Ajit Kumara in midfield. It's going to be Jayakumar Nirangsan, Mohamed Sajid, Raju Saranraj, and Mohamed Shamil, while Sinarasha Askar will be playing that forward position together with Mohamed Inam. Nalin the Konara setting his team up in a 4-4-2 with a heavier midfield, contrary to Saunders' approach where they will be playing with 2 midfielders and 4 forwards. And here's a look at your referees once again. Sampath Lianagunawardena, plenty of experience under his belt, refereeing rather matches at this level and far above. Ably assisted by Laharu Madhushanka and Indunil Sadakalum with Chatura Maduranga. That's the 4th official.
Plenty of responsibility on the shoulders of Sampath Lianagunawardena, but we all know what an experienced man he is, and he will be thriving under these sort of situations.
Absolutely. Quite a number of players here on both these sides, particularly for the Saunders team, who have worn the national shirt before, but have found opportunities rather limited since the influx of full-time professional expat players with Sri Lankan origin. So it's not just about getting into the Super League positions for some of these players, the likes of Sundarraj Niresh, who have lit up the highest level of Sri Lankan football in the past, has fallen off the radar a little bit, and this is a fantastic platform that will allow the likes of him, still only 27 or 28 years old, has a couple of years left, to try and make an effort to kind of break into that national setup again. And this, I think, Romario, is very important to have that right feeder system from here in the local football pyramid as well.
Yes, indeed, because when these players play alongside the international talent, it will only help the local players increase their level of playing, because if they are to live up, they have to step up and no doubt raise their game. So, like you correctly said, not only the Super League, but international call-ups and whatnot, plenty at stake for these players lining up here.
So Saunders will be playing from the left to the right of your screens, while Crystal Palace FC will be playing from right to left in their purple strip. As I was saying earlier, Saunders in a blue strip for this game, which is a departure from their traditional yellow shirt. Synonymous with all the success they've had. They are one of the few Sri Lankan teams that have played at Asian level as well over the years in Asian tournaments. A bit of a fall from grace for them, but still, it's going to be interesting. Sundarraj Niresh, the former St. Peter's striker, leading the line for Saunders in his pink boots. And referee Leona Gunawardena, one final look at his watch.
The match will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kick-off!
And we are underway here at the Racecourse International Stadium with Saunders kicking things off, but Crystal Palace trying to get a hold of possession. However, as we mentioned, Saunders line up 4-2-4, so forward heavy outfit, but Crystal Palace, well, they'll be looking to control that midfield But couple of heavy touches as all the players just feeling themselves into the game, Deshan.
Absolutely, and for Saunders in particular, Indiva Udara, the skipper, stalwart of Saunders football, he's been at the club for a very, very long time. He's going to be a very important player in the middle of the park. Kind of keeping things moving here as Dilan Kaushalya, unable to keep the ball on the pitch there, just losing track of it, and very early on you can see those signs of the wetness on the pitch causing that ball to move a little bit faster, Romario, and really stop the players from being able to quite accurately judge how fast the ball moves. You saw very early on that touch by Indiva Udara, and then again Dilan Kaushalya on the right side. Not really mistakes that you'll see players of that caliber making, so there will be an acclimatization period for these players.
As much as Saunders will be hoping to play 4 up front, I think the 2 wide men, they will have quite a bit of running to do down the 2 wings, up and down, tracking back and going forward as well to stay in line with their opponents.
Absolutely, and it is indeed a rather interesting approach, at least on the part of the Saunders management, to play a 4-2-4 formation rather, because what it does is it leaves a gaping hole on either flank of the middle of the park, and I think the closest thing you have to a 4-2-4 is a 3-5-2, but a 3-5-2 does not look at pushing the wide players absolutely in front. They look at wide players primarily as a part of the defense, but playing a wing back role where they contribute to the attack. So it's going to take some time, but we'll have to wait and see whether in fact this is a workable formation or if there will have to be some changes. So far it looks like they've committed to the 4 players at the front and the 2 midfielders held by the skipper, and this is what it can do when it's worked correctly. Dilan Kaushalya puts the ball into the box.
Great touch.
That's the first sign of trouble for Crystal Palace FC, but again, as we were speaking about it, that is the advantage of playing 4-2-4 with 2 players holding up the wings right in front, so that you can spread the ball very quickly to the front of the pitch, and the cross coming in here to the edge of the box, just a bit too much on it. Sundarraj Niresh may be looking for a speculative effort there with the ball to feet, but we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, because Crystal Palace is playing a traditional 4-4-2.
Yes, I think that's a go-to formation for the local coaches, and that's what they all deploy even in the school ranks, school levels as well. But it'll be interesting to see what sort of control the Crystal Palace players can have in the midfield. It won't be easy. The ball will zip around off the turf, but I think that's where these top level players will look to get their skill going. And thankfully though the rains have ceased, but still there is a bit of wetness on the ground. Neither team though really troubling the defense of their opponents 5 minutes into the game.
Samir Pereira there, again, bags of experience in that most often yellow shirt of this Saunders side, but he's going to have a job to do in that centre-back role. He's got, as I said, bags of experience, and his team will rely on him, and the likes of Udara will take a great deal of confidence from the fact that the likes of Nalim and Samir Pereira sit behind them in that defense as well. So
in the number 10 jumper as well. You don't see that too often.
It's not very much. You don't see that number coming goal side of the midfield very often, but goes on to emphasize how much of an important player he is for this Saunders side. As Indiva Udara once again looking at penetrating the defense, he very nearly finds Niresh Sundaraj, but I think Niresh just caught on that occasion as well. Little stomp on the boot, but he's okay and he's good to go. Just a quick look at that one again. Yes, I think just trying to get to the ball. Hemantha Bandaragoda, another player with plenty of experience at this level, just catching Niresh and stopping himself from coming through the attacker. But the referee sees a foul and we play on, and very nearly Jayakumar Nirangsan managing to break away. We've not seen any attacking play yet from Crystal Palace FC. And the game has been rather cagey. A little bit of confusion maybe, but nothing doing. And Saunders find the ball back in the arms of Vimukti Madhuwanta, the keeper.
The first game of the day saw 6 goals being put past SLTB. They will not be too pleased with that showing. The opponents scored about 25 seconds into the game, and from then on it was all downhill. But this game, a more balanced and two equally matched teams rather. Crystal Palace may have a little bit of the edge, but Saunders, a local giant, as we said earlier, trying to stamp their authority again in this local circuit. As Niresh trying to make something out of every given opportunity. Samir picks out Niresh, but the ball is given back to Samir. A lovely sweeping delivery there to Pathum Gimmana, but just unable to get it under control. But another good delivery coming through for Niresh, but just a bit too much on it, and it goes into the graceful grasp of the keeper, Mohammad Riflan, as we have a look at that replay, Deshan.
Absolutely, and Niresh now playing as a striker, but traditionally he's had a lot more joy running towards the goal with ball at feet and really playing as a second striker of sorts. But he seems to be the number one choice for the Saunders management at the very least, to try and break the deadlock. And what he's fantastic at is running into those spaces and bringing it down first touch, and very nearly on that occasion doing the needful and putting Saunders in front. But Riflan there making no mistakes with a very simple catch, really keeper's practice on his part. And now for the first time this game, Crystal Palace playing a bit of their football in the Saunders half. Indiva Udara very nearly giving it away, but nothing doing by Samira Pereira, who gets rid of it, gives the ball straight back. Ganesh Rajkumar down this flank, he manages to look for a pass, and again given away there by Jayakumar Nirangsan. Rajkumar again, no man's land, but cleared by Priyadarsana in the Saunders shirt. It's been very mellow stuff from Mario, and rather cagey with both teams. Not really seeing either side try to force themselves into this game and really stamp their authority.
Earlier we saw the Saunders management across the park there by the Crystal Palace players. The ball has trickled out. Shantasiri, the head coach, Jude Karnaratna, the goalkeeper coach for Saunders. They will all be hoping to get off to a good start in this Champions League competition. Their first game, of course, this against Crystal Palace. Taking no risks there. The right back clearing his lines.
Luti Nagaratna, Majid Kumar not really taking any chances, and once again going into that tackle hard again there by Crystal Palace defense, and the referee not very pleased with that one. Here's another look at that tackler, Mohammad Shamil, on this occasion. Really taking the attacker off from underneath him. Potentially a change in who's taking this corner kick. I think Sundarraj Niresh. No, there's two balls on the pitch, but Sundarraj Niresh now whips this one in, far post, and very nearly. Good play there by the Saunders attackers, and in particular Dilan Kaushalya with a beautifully weighted header to the center of the box. But unfortunately, Ziad Mufazal in that number 8 shirt unable to really wrap his foot around it, but he should be doing better at this level and getting it on the target at the very least, Romario.
Yes, making the goalkeeper work. A good training ground move there, coming off to a certain extent, but just unable to add a finishing touch for Mufazal. So you can say the first real opportunity goes the way of Saunders, but they don't really make anything out of it. But I'm sure there will be plenty more up for grabs as Crystal Palace go on an attack of their own. Gets the ball into that midfield. A good delivery there, but just a bit too much on it. And unfortunately, the winger
Jayakumar Nirangsan, outstretched leg, unable to really get to that one, but once again now Dilan Kaushalya down this flank, he manages to take the ball. Sundarraj Niresh seeing the man on the far side, beautiful pass from Niresh, very nearly, and that is what he is able to do. I think off the side, then around to, as I was saying, Sundarraj Niresh playing that position up, and Ziad Mufazal seeing himself fouled there. Mohammad Shamil, he's been in the thick of things. Just another look at that beautiful pass there by Sundarraj Niresh with the right type of top spin on it. Apologies there, that was Pathum Gimhan who's playing on that left side, but Sundarraj Niresh, as I was saying, Romario, that's where he's good at, not with his back to goal, but rather with some space to run into and orchestrating that play from the middle of the park.
Yes, as we have a look at that replay of the foul there, Mufasal cutting back inside and gets fouled by the Crystal Palace player. Now the Saunders players lining up, bit of a dummy at Niresh, unable to go over the wall, goes straight into it.
Again, very unnecessary there from Mohammad Shamil. He's had a few talkings too from the referee, and I think that's his last warning.
Just trying to get under the skin of his opponents and make the attackers feel known that he's there. And now this time the Crystal Palace player, he is fouled.
Samir Pereira knew exactly what he was doing there, just to stop the momentum of the break.
But also you could say that it's a bit of a silly foul there because he's in his opponent's half.
Absolutely, and Saunders SC was going nowhere at that point.
Back turn to the goal, and why do you really have to get so close? Well, I don't really understand why.
And once again, looking for the break but having to work themselves all the way back again. Darshana. Now Samir Pereira's pass somehow finds its way to Ziad Mufazal. Indiva Udara once again down this left flank now for Saunders SC. Ball goes out of play.
Saunders players, Mufasal getting a bit more possession, as Crystal Palace have not really been able to get going, unable to string a few passes together. Bit of pressure coming through, but still nothing really on. Now Niresh, a bit more central this time, gives it out to the number 7 Dilal, as he floats one in, but some good defensive work there by the skipper Shemak of Crystal Palace, and he somehow manages to get his head on that and put it towards safety. But still Saunders will be applying pressure.
Absolutely, Mohammed Shemak stops an almost certain goal and takes the ball away from the foot of the attacker. And now Crystal Palace with an opportunity to go past Samir Pereira. Is that a professional foul?
By the looks of it, it seemed to be so. You can see the experience of the man. He knows that it's coming. He goes as far as possible from the referee, but Sampath Taliyana Gunawardana calls him and shows the first yellow card of this game. He knew that if he was beaten, his team would have been in quite a bit of a strife.
Absolutely, and Saunders SC. Once again, Crystal Palace less than convincing, immediately losing possession once again to an offside call. Never really imposed themselves on the game in this first. Nalim here with the throw-in. Sundaraj Niresh all the way in the middle of the park now. Riflan on the edge of it, but No, good pass there by Ziad Mufazal. Abdul Aziz tried to make some space for himself and take a shot away. India Udara now. And Sundar Raj lets it roll on. Dilan Kaushalya. Once again looking for some support, but the effort skied on this occasion. A quick corner taken and very well indeed. Ziad Mufazal sends the ball into the box and Abdul Aziz just trying to find that space, but the shot blocked.
He did really well, did Mufasal to wriggle his way through, but just unable to find a finish was Abdul Aziz. Now the game opening up a bit with Saunders stringing a couple of attacks together. Handball this time in favor of Crystal Palace. The call goes. Raju preparing to put some on that ball and put it into that penalty area. Leaps highest. Taken, but not on target. So the first shot for Crystal Palace, just not on target, as Samir Pereira rather clears his lines. As we have a look at that replay again, rushing onto it was the number 17.
Once again, working back all the way, slowly moving phasers up the pitch. Dilan Kaushalya just lacking that turn of play, that turn of pace that he used to when he was a bit younger. And a throw in now to Crystal Palace in what's been a very mundane first 23-25 minutes. Again, referee decides that Abdul Aziz has in fact fouled his mark. President of the Football Federation of Sri Lanka, Jasper Rumer. Referee bringing the play back for the foul by Nalim. "25 minutes in, Romario, what are your thoughts on the game?" It's all been rather mundane. Both teams still not really finding their voice. Both teams not really finding their way in this game yet, despite the one or two moments you've seen from Saunders, who are both also rather wasteful in terms of how they utilize those opportunities.
No player of either team really just taking the game by the scruff of its neck. Everyone just letting things flow. Hemant floats it in to the box. The second ball has been collected by Crystal Palace, but some good pressure coming in. However, the referee says that there was a foul on Ajit Kumar. Hemant floated it up. The second ball was collected by Ajit Kumar, but Fauzan, I think it was more the skill of Ajit Kumar to buy the free kick off the referee rather than any real foul there.
Absolutely, I think Ajit Kumar on the turn, following his skill move to get away from the defender, using his balance a little bit and selling it to the referee more than anything else.
Wasteful effort by Crystal Palace FC again. Saunders SC won't complain. They are happy to take their time. They are happy to play out the back. Dilan Kaushalya, Sundarraj Niresh. Niresh looking for the through pass and he finds his man beautifully. Ziad Mufazal unable to hold on to it and the ball turned over to Crystal Palace FC immediately.
Wobbly old pass there towards Shemak, but he takes no risks and hoofs it out of the field of play. Long throw coming in to the box, and the ball has been fallen to the feet of Niresh. But with quite a few defenders in front of him, decides to reset play. However, here's a shot coming in, but just off target there by the Saunders player.
The long pass, I think the pass was offside with Indigo Udara taking that shot, but the referee's flag stayed down on that occasion, catching it off. Here to Saunders, looking for the foul, the referee deeming it way too soft. Yeah, look, just on the break on that occasion, but nothing doing.
Inam was the player coming back in defense. A good pass there, a good through ball there for the Saunders player, but just bullied off it. Niresh trying to send his forward through again, but to no avail. And for the on the third time of asking as well, Saunders. This time a bit too much on that through pass. So now they seem to be finding their footing and applying a bit of pressure on the defensive line of Crystal Palace. Ajit Kumar takes the throw in. Did really well. Get his foot to the ball. Did the Crystal Palace player, but just touch. Indura Udara in the center of field. Now another lovely through pass coming, and the clearance, well, that goes haywire, and the fourth corner for Saunders. Another chance for Sundarraj Niresh to toss the ball. The head of the ball. Niresh puts in, half cleared. However, Crystal Palace somehow managed to clear their lines. Now they are forward, holding things up, and Hemant Bandara, but gives it out to back. A diagonal pass coming in, trying to go down the far touch line. Are the the Crystal Palace players rather. However, just loses his touch, does Ajit Kumar. The game coming to life as half an hour has gone in the game. Passed off, just loses balance there. Now Dilan, back to Dilan, can't get crossing. Still holding it up, and the cross to his opponents. Both teams now just getting a bit of momentum and trying to on the accelerator catch the opponent off guard. Did really well to hold up the play there, but just pass line.
Absolutely right, Romario. I think both teams slowly waking up to the opportunities in this game. Dilan Kaushalya, a lot of the good things Saunders SC have done have come down this right flank. Both Dilan Kaushalya and Sundarraj Niresh, when he's dropping down from that position up top, really finding some joy in opening up the defense.
Playing it short is the goalkeeper Riflan from Saunders. However, over the top now, an opportunity, but the linesman, the assistant referee, flags offside. Danger signs for Saunders, seeming to be caught off guard, but just not curving his run enough there was Raju.
Saunders do have to play a relatively high line in terms of the back four, because that midfield is only two people and they have to keep things compact, and as a result what that does is it leaves a lot of space behind the centre backs, and you can see Samira Perera almost pushing his defender forward to maintain that compactness, which in turn leaves that space, which Crystal Palace seem to have identified and they're looking to kind of take advantage of. As Indio Udara swings the ball in front here, and a great opportunity. The best corner we've seen so far. Referee says nothing doing, but the decision, Romario, I'll come back to you to seek an opinion, but the throw-in being won by Crystal Palace FC, and I think Crystal Palace got away with one in what would have been a free kick in a very dangerous area.
And now the Saunders players just retaliating and trying to take things into their own hands. Mufasal, that is, doesn't really need to go into that sort of challenge. Hemant Bandaragoda floats the ball up. The second ball won by the Saunders player, but now a through pass coming in, but a tame effort there by the winger.
And for those of you watching at home, that's the absolute opposite of how you should hit the ball. When that kind of smart ball with experience, having learned his trade in the Iberian, how do you hit that one?
Just try to wrap his foot around it, but Raju thought better off, but unfortunately did not really come off for him. Fans coming in to watch their teams perform. The Saunders faithful in their yellow outfit, even though their team is in blue. And we also have a few fans coming in all the way from the central province to support Crystal Palace. Raju again just losing control of that pass. A heavy touch. Sampath puts it through the center. Mufasal now linking up well, but just losing out at the last moment. Here's an opportunity, but some good defensive work by the Crystal Palace player. There were quite a few Saunders attackers there. Unfortunately though, the ball fell at the feet of their opponents.
Absolutely, again Hemant Bandaragoda, the veteran defender, all that experience coming into play, and for a second there, I'm sure Dilan Kaushalya thought he had that goal offered to him on a plate, but Hemantha Bandaragoda, a fantastic example there, Romario, of exactly what to do in that position to get the ball away from play, but also hit it confidently enough to get it away from a potential rebound as well.
But has it come at a cost for the Crystal Palace players? Just gingerly getting up to his feet is Ajit Kumara.
He seems to be okay. I think just a bit of a hit there, requiring some minor treatment, and cannot begin play until the medical staff get off the pitch. The referee finally blowing the whistle. Now Saunders again. They've been knocking on that door, and on this occasion a wasteful pass on the far side, but Saunders SC have been knocking on that door, and they have been creating chances, the most effective of which you just saw there a moment ago. And that is what they can do. They've got these nimble-footed forwards playing in those front positions. They've overloaded the front of the pitch as well with 4 attackers, and in particular the likes of Sundarraj Niresh, Abdul Aziz, and here we go, yet another wave of attack and a shot! Blocked, but here we go, and a second opportunity. Fantastic save from the referee. And the goalkeeper there, Mohammad Riflan, very nearly sneaking over him from distance, does everything right. And Riflan, beautiful touch, and yet another chance. Riflan scutters that as well. And a shot. Again leading to another corner. This is the most sustained period of pressure that we've seen from the Saunders. Coming off the defender this time, as the referee points at the corner, and yet another opportunity now. Whips this one in, and oh, he does everything right except get that to hit the back of the net. 2 or 3 yards out. Nalim, I don't know how you can miss that one.
Indeed. Saunders relentlessly putting their opponents under pressure. However, Nalin from right in front, he fails to find the back of the net.
Certainly, it's harder to miss from that position than it is to score, and Nalim somehow manages to do just that. And that would have been a fantastic way to cap off that period of sustained pressure that we saw.
But I think Riflan, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, will be pleased that there was not too much damage done there. Niresh trying to get a lucky deflection. Here's the first goal. No, it isn't. Bandaragoda cutting it back. Bandaragoda goes again. But this time around, the linesman's flag goes up, flagging the Saunders players offside. That was the shot early on. The keeper was beaten. All ends up for the shot just to strike the upright, the woodwork rather, and go away. But now, by the looks of it, Mohammad Riflan, he seems to be in a bit of a strife.
Absolutely. Crystal Palace hanging on by the skin of their teeth, the upright and Bandaragoda in that defense. Saunders doing everything right except finding the back of the net. And it almost feels, given the nature of this game, that similar to the earlier game today, we are 1 goal away from opening the floodgates.
Just a little touch there, and the keeper would have been beaten. All ends up. But Riflan, when he extended to make that save. I think that's where he would have done himself a bit of damage. 40 minutes into the game. Palace play hanging on by the greatest difficulty, but Riflan is back and he takes the goal kick. Crunching tackle there, coming in by Sundarraj Nire.
So Romario has concluded upon this half, and we go into the last few minutes of this half. But is that the formation of the Saunders side has changed up, has now to the playing a more midfield role, and in case in the number 8 shirt you saw Mufazzal breaking forward, and once again Mufazzal on the end of that and trying to carry the ball forward. Again, the ball unfortunately, and Palace said it now, and an opportunity for a shot. The tackle comes in, and
here's the first opportunity for Crystal Palace, and it seems to be coming off the spot.
Absolutely, on a yellow card, and Siras Ashkar in that number 24. He has been a real pain, a thorn in Samira Pereira's back as well, and as you can see, just getting past him, Samira Pereira definitely does foul him. Ashkar takes a second to really feel the contact, but that's what good football is all about, to understand when to go down and when to stay up, and Ashkar doing the right thing.
Indeed, and also you saw he got himself in between the ball and the man, and he was just waiting for that contact to go down. And as he no sooner he felt that contact of Samira, Ashkar took advantage and went down. Also, we should not forget that Samira is on a yellow card, so thankfully for him and Saunders, the referee has not decided to his pocket, but if that had happened, I think they would have been in quite a bit of strife. However, an opportunity.
Absolutely, Mohamed Shemak stepping up to take the penalty for his team, but Samira Pereira, I think that was a fair decision just to award the penalty without a card there, Romario, given the nature of the foul. Blows his whistle. Shemak steps up and he makes no mistake, sending the Crystal Palace FC have
Jersey number 14, Mohamed Shemak.
Mohamed, no mistake in front, and suddenly talk going for both has changed substantially.
Drastically indeed has. Krishna's taking responsibility of the spot kick and making no mistake, sending the keeper the wrong way. And now Crystal Palace, well, as you said, the halftime talk will change drastically because they have managed to register the first goal. As we see the fourth official raising his board for 4 minutes of added time at the end of this first 45. Now the Saunders faithful just getting a bit vocal here.
Referee just called for some technical assistance for the player on that far side. Fourth official Chatura Maduranga off your screens here, urging the Crystal Palace bench to get some support across as soon as possible. And I think it looks like a bout of cramp and a very sportsmanly gesture on the part of Abdul Aziz, who's helping out there as well. And that's not what you like to see. Romario, referee Sampath Lianagunawardena has now indicated the want for a stretcher, and looks like that's that really, if a stretcher has to be pulled in.
At the looks of it, the player on the floor has seemingly done himself quite a bit of damage, more than what we thought first off. And he's been stretchered off.
Two football legends in Sri Lanka on the far side of your screens there, Dudley Sainwal and Sampath Pereira. Sainwal, of course, formerly captaining the national team as well, plying his trade across a number of clubs here in the country. And that's that. Crystal Palace now at the institution.
I think before that they will have to defend this free kick with a man light. Hemant clearing his lines. He has been
A rock at the back, hasn't he, Romario? Hemanta Bandaragoda, despite his years, he's really been commanding that defense. He's the reason that Crystal Palace have remained in the game, and now they are in front, looking for something speculative. And here's a fantastic opportunity for Dilan. A save, and one finally making no mistake. Darshana, the defender, running that one home.
drawing level. It's injury time. Hail. Oh. But Priyadarshana, he couldn't have missed from that, Deshan, could he?
Absolutely, Priyadarshana not making the error Nali made and scoring from a yard out. It to Dilan Kaushalya, his first effort. Very well saved there.
Dilan hoisted in. A good collection there by to go for the second time.
And the clock suggests that time is up. Referee Sampath having a look at his watch as well, Romario, and looks like that's it.
Just playing a bit longer because that and after the fourth official raised his board. That's that. Then this first half, it did take us some time to get going, but Crystal Palace scored the opener off the spot through Shemak, and then Priyadarshana came up and scored for Saunders to level things here at the Racecourse International Stadium. And as we go into half-time, there is nothing to separate the two teams, with Saunders and Crystal Palace going in with 1 goal apiece. We have a look at the highlights of that first half. Took both teams a bit of time to get going. It was Saunders who had and opportunities. They missed from extremely close range. And as the half was drawing to end, they had chance after chance. But Crystal Palace somehow hang on. Samir was booked for that challenge. Mufazal thought he had set up his teammate Abdul Aziz, but then the Crystal Palace players found their feet. Themselves a chance or two of their own. Hemant clearing the lines of Crystal Palace not once, not twice, but 3 times. Riflan too called into action. Niresh thought he had assisted his team, but then this happened. Samir fouled the Crystal Palace and then stepped up skipper Shemak to find the back of the net off the spot. Another good save from Riflan, but it was not good enough, as Priyadarshana from close range knocked the ball into the back of the net, and that saw us going into half time with nothing to separate the two teams. 1-1, as we will go in for a short commercial break and be back with second half action on the other side. Champions League game. Both teams coming back in as a change is being made for Crystal Palace. Jersey number 8 in and 4 out for Crystal Palace. Madhusanka Liyanage, beg your pardon, jersey number 18 coming in for 4. As they have rung the changes, have Crystal Palace, and they will be hoping to make an impact.
Jersey number 18 will replace jersey number 4.
Saunders, well, they are just opting to the for the same players to continue. As Crystal Palace gets us underway in this second half. A lucky ricochet, ball kept in the field of play, but a massive tackle coming in by skipper Shemak. But it's clean. Gets the ball and as much of his opponent. But now Riflan, this time around, he clears his lines rather than opting to play from the back. As I have Deshan with me in the commentary box, continuing for this second half. Deshan, Saunders, they seem to be just stepping on the accelerator, and we all know that the first 5 minutes before halftime and halftime are crucial, and Saunders are hoping that they can make something out of it.
Absolutely, Romario. An absolutely crucial period post the halftime interval, and Saunders will be looking forward to taking advantage of the momentum that they had built coming into this halftime interval. Of course, they took advantage of the extra man they had following that injury in defence for Crystal Palace to turn home a goal. Crystal Palace, to their credit, have not been very loud with the complaints about that, and they've played on their game and now find themselves 1-1 at the turn of the half. Sundarraj Niresh again dropping back into that midfield position that he really morphed into in the first half as well, leaving that position up front behind. And as we were speaking earlier about the halftime discussions, it's going to be interesting to see what pans out over the second half, as we have a corner as a result of a Crystal Palace attack, and Romario, looks like the instructions to both the teams from the coaches, both in terms of Shanta Siri for the Saunders side and Nalinda Konara for Crystal Palace, have been to really get at it as the team stepped out in this second half.
Indeed, trying to catch their opponents napping early on in this second half. Raju applying a bit too much whip on that. So Saunders legend Sumit Walpola looks on. This time around, it's the Saunders player who makes a mistake.
Sumit Walpola, of course, not just a legend at Saunders, but a legend of the game here in Sri Lanka as well. He's devoted his entire life to the game we love and continues to do so despite his advancing years. And it's men of his nature that have continued to support the growth of football in this country, as the referee blows for an infringement there on the far side. Saunders once again with a free kick, an opportunity now for Samir Pereira. Don't forget, he's on a yellow card and he did concede a penalty as the cross comes in. Again, a wasteful effort, but Samir Pereira the senior statesman rather, in that Saunders defense, living on the edge.
Pocket picked by the Saunders players, as they seem to be committing a few more bodies forward, but Niresh has been brought down.
Saranraj there with the foul. The midfielder, Sundarraj Niresh. We were discussing earlier, Romario, whether it was the right decision to put Niresh up front for this game, but what we have seen over the course of the last 40 minutes or so of this game is that he's really settled into that space between the midfield and the attack and really driving the attack forward for Saunders.
Pulling the strings for his outfit. Samir not too happy with the wall advancing. Drives straight into the wall. Trying to run down the near touchline, but they have been dispossessed. Now a good ball by Ashkar. Beg your pardon, to Ashkar. But nothing really on. Ashkar trying to go down the line. Cutting back, but to no one in specific.
Waiting for that ball to work its way out of play. Nalim there takes a risk, and here we go. Crystal Palace with an opportunity to send the ball in, but not getting it on target. Bit of a speculative effort there from distance. Never really going to trouble the keeper, but the one advantage you do have with some of these strikes, given the condition of the pitch, is that it is indeed a wet turf, so the ball can skid off as a late tackle, but the referee sees nothing worth calling a foul for there, as ball once again makes its way off the pitch for a goal kick. And again, after an initial burst of energy, Romario, both teams again seems to be settling in, and this is rather similar to what we saw in the first half of the game as well.
Good through pass coming in. Now the number 9. Oh dear. Just not connecting with his left foot. Trying to get the cross in. Correct idea, but just lacking execution.
Pathum Gimhan there with acres of space, plenty of time to make a decision, and you really expect someone of his level to be doing better there. But I think what did happen there, Romario, is just too busy looking at the man and the run he was making that he couldn't quite look down to see if the ball was travelling at the same pace, and looking rather silly there, but he had the right idea, just the execution that was the problem.
His right foot just knocking the ball early on before his left foot could have connected. Saunders players trying to sneak through in an attack, but they have been dispossessed. However, they regain position. The cross coming in. A second opportunity. This time around he makes good contact, gets a cut back, but unable to find a teammate. Here comes a through ball. A good delivery there, but boy oh boy, straight away the referee has decided that he is sending off the Saunders player, and now things will no doubt go from bad to worse. Straight away the referee didn't think twice. The Saunders defender, Priyadarshana. Here you go. A high foot coming in, and he virtually takes out the
Red card for Saunders.
goalkeeper.
Jersey number 3, Priyadarshana.
And now Saunders find themselves in a massive spot of bother.
Absolutely unnecessary there from Priyadarshana. That play going nowhere, and what a wasteful, cynical way to really get a booking. Nearly a karate kick of sorts. Kicking out at Mohammad Riflan, both his feet in the air. I don't quite understand what he was planning to achieve. Although the connection wasn't quite as bad as one may assume it could have been. You can't blame Riflan for making the most of it, given that it was just a ridiculous way to give up a foul. And Riflan seems to be good to go, and we have yet another look. Sundaraj Niresh, it was a beautiful pass, just a yard too much on it, and both his feet were in the air at one point, with that right foot really leading at a substantial height, but it's just an unnecessary foul on the part of the number 3, Priyadarshana, and he's left his team with a far more difficult job than necessary in winning the 3 points here. Don't forget, the score is still 1-1, and now what that means, Saunders in that 4-2-4 formation now need to decide on how they're going to realign that defense and what that means for the attack as well.
Also, incidentally, it's the goal scorer who finds himself receiving his marching orders for Saunders. Now, Crystal Palace, they will surely be licking their lips. A man to the good. Shot coming in, but a tame effort. Drifts wide and trickles out of play.
Ziad Mufazal trying to make the most of that one, and a good effort by Abdul Aziz to try to keep it in play. Let's not forget that the other man playing that centre back position for Saunders SC, Samira Pera, is also on a booking, and a foul that led to a penalty following that booking, so he's also potentially one clear-cut foul away from another yellow card himself, Romario.
And their defense is being stretched now for Saunders. All of their substitutes are busy warming up behind the Crystal Palace goal. I think it'll be just a matter of time before a substitute comes on. But who will be sacrificed is a question. Just a bit too much there by Askar.
He's been a real thorn in the Saunders side. Askar, him and Samir Pera in particular have had a fantastic battle over the course of this game. And there's bags of energy in those feet.
Crystal Palace will be just biding their time. Askar receives it over the defensive line. Good press coming in by the Saunders players, and they win the throw-in. Mufazal Trying to pick out that man on the far side. But just a bit not enough. Good caution shown there by Raju. However, the ball changes hands. Now, that was a promising pass there to the foot of Gimhan.
Yeah, Saunders, they've not let the attacking laurels rest following that red card either, which is very encouraging. And it's something they'll have to keep up over the course of the next 30 minutes or so, as we close in on the conclusion of the first 15 minutes of this second half. And yet another bout of cramp by the looks of it. I think Mohammad Sajid on this occasion needing a bit of a stretch. And despite the temperature here in Colombo not being at its usual highs, let's not forget that with the rain there is a great deal of humidity in the atmosphere as well, and that does play a part in making these players uncomfortable. At the very least, they don't have to deal with the extreme heat you've seen over the recent times during the daytime, but still it does take a toll on the body. And a beautiful pass yet again for Saunders, very nearly, and it's a fantastic touch there by Gimhan. And a good opportunity now, Mufazal trying to make something of it, his pass going wayward. And Crystal Palace now pushing forward, Sundarraj Niresh flailing his arms, and I think rightfully so there, Romario, there was a case for a foul. But the referee said play on, there was no advantage. That was an interesting decision on the part of the officials, but here we are. And now looks like he is bringing it back. And a yellow card potentially. Yes, it is. It's a yellow card for the skipper, Mohammad Shemak. He himself again a goal scorer. And now both the key centre-backs for both these teams on cautions. And Askar now with an opportunity to get a shot away. Doesn't really get his foot around it. And the chance goes begging for Crystal Palace. And since this, just another look at that foul yet again. Beautiful touch there by Gimhan, and was a dangerous challenge there by Shemak, coming with the leading right foot stud showing. And I think a bit lucky as well not to see anything worse than that, but a yellow card, I feel the right decision from the referee. But Saunders have been the more dominant side attack-wise since the red card as well, as Amira Pereira goes down clutching his shin. The referee initially said play on, but I think a two-man foul there by the centre circle. And referee Sampath Liana Gunawardena bringing play back.
I think both players just going hammer and tongs at each other. Samir getting some ice on his shin. Saunders chasing the game. Even though they are level on the scoreboard, they are man light. As we have a look at that replay, both sets of players receiving treatment. The yellow card comes in for the Crystal Palace number 8, Sajid. Drop ball to restart play.
Yellow card for Crystal Palace, jersey number 8, Mohamed Sajid.
Both sets of players seen the funny side to that. Through pass coming in. Askar trying to step on the gas. But well done by the keeper. Vimukti Madhuwanta for Saunders. Now an opportunity to swing the ball across the face of goal. But just as I say that, into the graceful grasp of Madhuwanta goes the ball. Dilan to Raju as he gets on his bike. A lovely back heel coming in, and here's, oh dear, why did he do that? He should have just finished. Instead, he tried to set his teammate up, and a massive opportunity squandered by Pathum Gibman. He did well, gave the pass, received the back heel through Dilan, and tried to set up Mufazal there. But why did he really go to do that? He should have just finished. Now Crystal Palace getting a second lease of life. Samir finds Mufazal, goes for the long range shot into the hands of Riflan. All the Saunders faithful just questioning that decision. Asghar fighting a lone battle there up front for Crystal Palace. Yet again having a bit of chasing to do. But he fouls his opponent, does Asghar. Got his body in the way. Did Fawzan.
And to Saunders' credit, I think Coach Santashiri has made sure that the team is able to hold their shape the best possible way, despite that red card, and Sundarraj Niresh, they are losing the ball. But again, I think what is evident is the levels of energy shown by the Colombo side has been fantastic, even following the red card just there, and as the referee calls for another infringement. It's a very light one there by the man in the number 18 shirt, the substitute Madhusanka Liyanage. But what I was saying, Romario, is just even we saw a few phases ago Sundarraj Niresh picking the ball up off the centre backs and just cruising past the midfielders for Crystal Palace, and that should not be happening. And once again sent through on goal here. Does fantastically well to keep the ball there. Indiva Udara with an opportunity to send the cross in. Here's a chance! Riflan gets it away, and finally Sundarraj Niresh gets a shot away, but a rather tame one, and I beg your pardon. In fact, it was indeed Sundarraj Niresh there that took the shot away, and Indiva Udara showing immense hunger and getting a bit of fortune for the effort he put in. And a beautiful cross coming in from that left flank. Sundarraj Niresh again, the bounce just not quite playing to his strengths. And we have yet another hold of play, this time Nagaratnam Majid Kumara for Crystal Palace. We've had quite a few Crystal Palace players going down with bouts of cramp over the course of this game. with their training and with a lot of their pre-preparation work happening up in the hill country, in the cooler climes of Gampala, it is a bit of a different ball game when you do have to play here at sea level in more humid environments as well.
Yes,
and for better or for worse, I think, Romario, Racecourse does remain Sri Lanka's pinnacle in terms of football grounds as well, and it is a rather expansive pitch, so not very easy for a lot of these lads who don't really train in the same conditions.
Udara, the skipper for Saunders, moments ago showed great hunger there, leading by example. Riflan though, clearing his lines. Inam applying a bit of pressure, a bit too much, but the ball trickled out of play. Samir gives it out to Niresh. The reverse pass found, but just caught. His jersey was tugged, and that's why the free kick has been awarded. There you go. There you see the replay there. Pathum Gimmana makes that run through, and there you see the jersey being tugged by Hemantha. Clearly beaten for pace there, Hemantha, but thought better of, and they could maybe exchange jerseys after the game. But now Niresh lining up alongside two teammates.
And a fantastic opportunity, Sundarraj Niresh, who I had the opportunity of knowing since the time I was 17, which unfortunately was 11 years ago. This is the area he loves, his free kicks, and he'd spend hours after training every day trying to get these in the top corner. So let's see whether this is one of those opportunities that he converts, and if he does, what a story for Saunders, who despite a red card has remained the better team today. And it is Niresh, gets it on target, but Riflan gets down well enough, clears the ball beautifully as well, but stays in the game.
The
team from Gampala.
He didn't get enough contact as he would have liked to and hoped for, but somehow managed to keep it on target, make the goalkeeper work. Thankfully for Riflan and Crystal Palace, the ball did not squirt out. Askar rather, beg your pardon. The ball back again with the Saunders players, trying to pick a pass. They have to do something special to unlock this defense, but a no-look pass from the number 11. The skipper, cross coming in, off the upright, off the woodwork.
Zafar Muzail again, very nearly converting that cross into a shot and catching Riflan off guard. Samir Pera making no mistakes at the back there. Here's another look at that one. That cross coming in, Riflan letting it go almost and not really worrying about that at all. Sneaking in very nearly at the upright, that 90-degree angle there. But Saunders knocking on that door.
Seemed to have foxed Riflan there as he was wondering what to do. Left it alone, but thankfully for him, the woodwork got in the way. Back again to the skipper, Udara, driving at his opponent, getting the cross away. A good diagonal pass, chested down. Still the ball with the Saunders players, but the final pass lacking. Hemant.
Just running out of ideas there, the Saunders attackers, but again that energy really coming through. Winning that second ball. Here's an opportunity to get a shot away. It doesn't. Crystal Palace all over the place as they manage to get the ball away to Ashkar. Now here is an opportunity. Mohammad Inam working it forward again, trying to look for Ashkar. Cheap giveaway of possession. Sundarraj Niresh also giving it away cheaply. And a wasteful pass there.
You know, Ashkar has been running his socks off, and you throw a pass like that in front of him, and what do you expect? Changes coming in as Crystal Palace are now looking to press and get that winner. They are a man to the good. Samir doesn't really find his target. Hemant, well, in fact that's Shamil clearing his lines. Here's a substitute, run in. Oh boy, the pass was on. Ashkar did make a good run, but just did not thread the needle, did the substitute. Favi's throw by Raju. Ashkar doing the holding up work. Back to Ashkar. Gets the cross in. Open play. Gets the shot on target, but the defender gets in the way for Saunders. Another opportunity goes begging for Crystal Palace. But now they seem to be pressing. Samir with nothing really on. Twists, turns and clears his lines. He does. Puts a bit of safety in between the play, and now it's time for the Saunders goalkeeper to take a breather.
Yeah, Vimukti Madhuanta there going down after that phase of play. It does his foot in, I think.
Yeah, you can see he's having a heavily strapped right knee, and I think it would have twisted.
And it looks like that is his evening done. Nalim and the physio both signalling to the bench that potentially either Sandaruan Lakshan or Kalpana Rashmika needs to make their way. And indeed, it looks like Kalpana Rashmika will be coming on in place of Vimukti Madhuanta.
Substitution to Saunders.
And Kalpana Rashmika now coming on for the injured Vimukta Madhuanta. He has 13 minutes during which he has to hold fort. It's never easy coming on as a keeper mid-game, especially with a sudden injury, because it does require a good rhythm being the guardian of the back of the net, and it's never easy.
You know what I also can't understand is that a player carrying an injury can never give his 100% towards the team.
Absolutely.
And why would you want to start him? He may be the best player, but if you are injured, mate, you're not fit enough to start, nor to give your 100% towards the team. So you'd rather give a fitter player, even if he's a bit better than you, the non-fit player, the opportunity to perform. A good pass coming in.
And Indiva Udara here with an opportunity to get the ball into the box. And what a challenge there. Coming in from Crystal Palace. Absolutely fair in terms of the rules of the game, but just the sheer impact of that challenge. Catching Indiva Udara, the Saunders skipper, and he seems to have taken a bit of a hit there, and he seems to be okay. He's trying to cut inside. Just then, very nearly, and a wasteful one there. Just on your screens, you can see again the confirmation of that change. Kalpana Rashmika coming on for Vimukti Madhuanta, wearing that number 25 shirt, and it's still 1-1 here at the racecourse grounds as we approach the 79th minute of this game. Just 11 minutes plus added time left.
I'm sure there'll be a good chunk of added time. Deshan. Here's a skipper, turn in, run in towards goal. Gets the cross away, but does not beat his opposite number, Shimak.
And Sundarraj Niresh there again with the fancy footwork, manages the little nutmeg, gets caught in the process. Both players going down, but I think Sampath Lenu Gunawardena with the whistle has already made the decision, and a beautiful little nutmeg there by Sundarraj Niresh and a late challenge. And in the number 29 shirt, Nagaratna Majid Kumara set to receive a yellow card now. And yes, it is, and Nagaratna Majid Kumara just signaling there to Sundarraj Niresh, just the mark of his apology there, and that's always nice to see in a high stakes game like this, as the referee now sets the boundary for this defensive wall. As Crystal Palace have some work to do to stop this shot now. Samira Pereira loves taking these shots from distance, and here's another chance for him, another bite of the cherry. But Indiva Udara takes this one. Here's an opportunity. Goes straight at the keeper, and no mistakes made on the part of Mohammad Riflan there.
Counts as a shot on target, but just straight at the goalkeeper.
Absolutely keeping practice for the Crystal Palace GK. And Nalim couldn't really figure out where that was going, but what a pass there. And here's a fantastic opportunity. The keeper takes him out, but the referee deems it fair play, and that is exactly what it was. I think that was Pathum Gimhan there who gets caught, but fantastic goalkeeping from Mohammad Riflan.
Indeed, and Gimhan has been in the wars. I think more than the tackle, the way he landed, I think he got his head squashed in between the floor. But he has been a workhorse, running all night. 81 minutes into the game. Now getting a bit of treatment, a bit of that magic spray and that magic ice. Well, it always does the trick. As Gimhan goes off the field of play, a corner. Just 3 Saunders attackers in the box, with Niresh on the edge of the D. Comes to Niresh. He goes for the speculative shot, just off target. But credit should go to Saunders. A man down, and they are trying every possible way to unlock this Crystal Palace defense. As a change comes in, Jacob Atkinson running on.
Jacob Atkinson coming on in place of Dilan Kaushalya, so some youth to replace some experience. Atkinson coming fresh out of Sri Lanka's school structure. A name that fits straight in Sri Lanka's national team, Romario.
Indeed it is. A product from Gateway College. His first touch slips while getting it, but the ball has been kept in by Indivara Udara. Here's Mufasal. Now Niresh gets the shot in away, but yet again another team effort. However, wins his team a corner as we see a bit of lightning. Well, we'll be all hoping that it stays away, the rain. Crystal Palace trying to break, unable to do so. Gets the pass away, the second time of asking. Here's Askar. He has been running all evening. Deshan, a workhorse. He has been holding up play with his back towards goal. As the thunder increases, now Atkinson makes the run down the far wing. Beats the first man. Tries to get that offload away. Was that a handball? Well, question mark. Boy, oh boy. Was that a handball?
Two questions there for referee Sampath to answer. The first handball after Atkinson beautifully puts the ball into the box after rolling his foot over the first touch there. And secondly, that foul was the attacker caught out on the edge of the box. So far, referee Sampath has decided nothing doing in terms of both. And by the first look of it, it looked like it touched that hand just as the defender was running towards the goal, makes a sudden turn to face the ball and nicks his hand by the looks of it for us from the commentary box. But if the referee does not go back to have a look at it, he is indeed very, very lucky.
Indeed he is. Here you see that replay. Well, just before that rather. Atkinson giving away the foul. But he did everything right, did Jacob. Found the arm of the player. If we can have a replay of that penalty shout. He drove from the right hand touchline towards the box and cut it backwards. And the arm of the defender, it was away from his body, and I think even if the referee had given that penalty, I don't think the Crystal Palace players would have had too many complaints. But having said that, the referee hasn't given away that penalty. Crystal Palace still living to fight in this game. Even though Saunders have been down a player, it doesn't really show on the field of play, as Crystal Palace have not been able to string 3 to 4 passers. Ball hoofed into the field, into the penalty box rather. Player held back, but another good delivery. Here's the skipper. Can he get the pass away? Yes, he can. Atkinson trying to get the shot away, but just unable to work the keeper. The Saunders keeper does really well there. Stop the pass, cut back inside, and he did give the pass as well. Jacob Atkinson just unable to beat the man in front of him and get the shot away.
Yellow card for Crystal Palace, jersey number 27.
And that, of course, was the substitute attacker for Crystal Palace, Mohammad Farweez, getting that yellow card for that late challenge. Indiva Udara, the skipper for the Colombo lads, has been a live wire throughout this game, and it's been really driving that midfield too for Saunders, as he has all these years. And the referee watches on as this corner kick comes into place. Atkinson trying to take the quick corner, or support the quick corner rather, but nothing doing. We're going to see as we roll into the final minute slowly of normal time, the ball coming in, and an interesting one there, not really close to any of the attackers, and Mohammad Riflan not making a mistake in collecting that one.
Well, he had to collect that, Deshan. because if he did not, it would have been curtains. There was a Saunders player behind him.
And just as we speak, Romario, we are now in the final minute of normal time here at the racecourse grounds, and wait and see how many minutes of added time there is. We're bound to see a few. Ndiva Udara now once again with that beautiful no-look pass. Here's an opportunity to get a cross in for Saunders. Saunders managed to do so, a low cross, but the ball worked out of play. Mohammed Fauzan.
Saunders, their machine seems to be still going, even though they are playing with 9.
Absolutely, Ray Soundaraj. And what a touch there. Great opportunity.
Just crowded out there. Did everything right. Got the shot away as well, but just crowded out by the players, by the defensive players of Crystal Palace. Now he seems to be cramping up. Has been running all evening. Still his right foot, his right calf rather, no good.
And just off your screens, there we go, 8 minutes of added time, so plenty of time to make a dent in the scoreline for either side, and it's looked only like Saunders in terms of the team that will score. And as you can see, just another man hitting the deck. You see a little more than 8 minutes. Just trying to have a look at who that is. Yes, that is Pathum Gimhan. Fair play. He has been running his socks off over the course of the game. Needs to leave the pitch before he can come back on to the pitch. There we go. Indiva Udara swings it in. Here's an opportunity, and very nearly Atkinson does get his head on it, but just not enough purchase to generate enough power. And Riflan looks like he's having a bit of discomfort, walking away gingerly into the left-hand corner of the goal. Once again, now looking for Jacob Atkinson. Sundarraj Niresh sees the ball flash past him. And here's an opportunity now for Askar. Askar, can he make it? Another one. Very, very nearly. And that's what he's absolutely brilliant at doing. Once again, that battle between Samir Pereira and Askar. Nearly seeing Askar score a goal. He just couldn't see that effort be worked to the goal. A beautiful cross there. And on the other side, meanwhile, Indiva Udara sends the ball inside, intercepted again by Bandaragoda, and his secondary effort to clear it going out of bounds. So a corner for Saunders SC.
Still pressing. About 6 minutes. A little over 6 minutes and a bit of change left. Skipper preparing to take the corner.
And Pathum Gimhan now formally replaced there by Muhammad Shahid. His race is run. And Muhammad Shahid restores parity in terms of the number of players. Ball comes in to the far post. Here's an opportunity, but straight at Riflan. Riflan taking all the time in the world.
As the rain comes down, Deshan. Thankfully, it has held throughout the 90 minutes. And the final few minutes, the rain seems to be coming down. Now Crystal Palace with an opportunity to maybe attack, put the game to bed. The substitutes trying to combine, but Naresh puts in a lovely outside of the foot pass. And running at the defense, just a skipper. Boy, oh boy, what an effort. That had plenty of curl on it. But again, it had taken a touch off his opponent. Yeah, you see that replay there. It almost shaved the woodwork. The corner comes in. Goes deep. Still alive. Crystal Palace holding up the play through their lone forward. Good pressure coming in, but well held by the substitute there in the number 13 jumper. Well, in fact, that's Inam. Tossing it over to Askar.
And Nalim very nearly giving it away there to Askar, but rescuing matters. And here we have once again India Udara trying something speculative. Venomous ball coming in and cleared there by the Crystal Palace defense, and I think another substitution on the cards as well while we see the stoppage for injuries. Crystal Palace have seen a number of stoppages over the course of this game. There Nagaratna Majid Kumar saying he does not want treatment, but since you've had to get the physio on the pitch, it automatically requires that he leaves the pitch first before being allowed back on.
Yes, also you can see these players playing competitive football after a while, and that is clearly having a toll on their body.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's never easy playing 90 minutes at this intensity, which is why consistency in terms of the scheduling, particularly from an administration point, is so important to condition the players the right way. And Romario, that tends to be the gap that you do see between the expat players and a lot of the players who ply their trade at Sri Lankan clubs, where that structure and that consistency really does play a part in terms of how good they can become.
Certainly does. The expat players playing week in, week out, but on the other hand, these players, they assemble the squad a couple of weeks ahead of the tournament, and that surely has a massive toll on the fitness of these players. Foul coming in on Mufassal, quickly taken. Saunders still pressing, trying to get in the curler going, but asking a bit too much of himself is the skipper Indivara Udara. The goal kick, Askar chasing with his head turn to goal. Now time has run out. We are in the final few seconds, or well, rather that too has run out, and now it's solely the referee's decision to call an end to this game. A 1-1 draw, will it end as, or will there be a winner? Samir trying to get in the pass, trying to thread the defense. Jacob Atkinson trying to beat his man, bodies his opponent, but he goes down. The ricochet comes. Here's Saunders. Can they win it? Is that a penalty? It indeed is a penalty. At the dying embers, Saunders win a penalty. A yellow card is shown to Riflan, and now the opportunity to win it. Here you see the replay again. Does really well, does the number 14 Shahid, but his opposite number Shemak and Riflan getting a bit of a tangle and bringing down their opponent. Now Sundarraj Niresh, he'll have a lot of pressure to cope up with. Does he have ice in his veins?
Absolutely, Romario. What an opportunity for Saunders to take home the 3 points. If they do, they'll be very deserving of it. And Sundarraj Niresh has been in the middle of every good thing they've done so far this game. He has an opportunity to put the icing on the cake this evening. As the rain pours on this Colombo skyline, Riflan has done very little wrong, but neither has the man standing opposite him. An opportunity to put this to bed. Niresh! That's it! Saunders take home the points in the dying seconds of this game. It's hard to say it's an undeserved result. And Sundarraj Niresh, the deserving goal scorer. You do feel for the keeper. I think looking at it from up here, you could argue that the keeper got there second, and in fact it was skipper Shemak who conceded the foul. Here's another look at that penalty. Sundarraj Niresh won't mind. He stepped up and he's done his job.
Too good to miss out is Niresh. After Saunders went a man down, they have fought, they have soldiered on. Now Crystal Palace, they will not have too much time left. There goes the full-time whistle. Saunders end the game 2-1, and with it bag 3 points. It was Crystal Palace who opened the scorers in the first half through skipper Shamak through off a penalty. Priyadarshana, he drew level in the first half, but in the second half Priyadarshana saw red for a karate kick on Riflan. From then on it has been all Saunders. And the Saunders have somehow managed to fight their way back. They fought their way back from being 1 goal down, leveled things up, went a man down, but in the dying embers, a penalty by Sundarraj Niresh means that they end the game as victors 2-1, and that brings us to an end of Game 4 in the Football Federation Champions League 2025-2026 tournament. Here are a few highlights from that second half. Crystal Palace, they attacked manfully. They fought really hard, but it was this red card that changed the outlook of this game. From then on, Saunders were attacking manfully, even though they were man down. Both teams went hammer and tongs at each other. There were quite a few yellow cards. Gimhan had an opportunity, tried to lay it on a platter for his number 8 Mufazal, but that did not come off. Skipper Udara, he fought on this left wing, set up a few good opportunities for Sundarraj Niresh, but in the dying embers, it was the Saunders players who managed to secure a penalty. Pathum Gimhana, he did fight extremely hard. So did Indivara Udara. But Crystal Palace, they did not give up. Neither did Askar, the lone warrior up front for Crystal Palace. Udara went in on attack time and time again, but this was a penalty. Number 14 on number 14. Shemak conceded the penalty, and Niresh, he had ice in his veins to end the game. Put the game to bed with that penalty. 2-1. Saunders It has been a gripping encounter here at Racecourse. Both teams fighting extremely hard, but there could have been only one winner. To register that win, to get all 3 points and leave with a bag full. Crystal Palace, on the other hand,